Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and yet another test ride. Today we are on the Triumph Trident. Alright guys, so we have been on this bike before when it first got released a couple of years ago. I was one of the first to take the bike out, so we are back today at Bike Biz and we're taking this bike out for a spin because I wanted to ride this bike again to get a feel for this bike, because it's actually on my radar to purchase one of these. I think for an everyday sort of bike, commuter, something, you know, you can still have fun on the weekends. It's just a fantastic all-round motorcycle. And yeah guys, so alright, let's start off with the comfort of this bike straight away. Obviously we just got off riding the Triumph Street Triple R, so obviously we can compare it a little bit to that bike, and obviously it's a lot more comfortable. The pegs, your footrests are not as aggressive, you're not as tucked up, your hands are pretty similar but not as leant over. But yeah, I mean the Street Triples handlebars were pretty upright anyways. But yeah, definitely notice the most with the pegs. They're a lot lower and not as far back as the Street Triple. You know, you're comparing this bike to the likes of the MT07. You've got the Ninja 650, got the Honda 650, the CBR 650. So all those sort of bikes are in the same ballpark and price range as this bike, and I think value for money, you get a lot more out of this bike. I think, you know, the premium touches on this bike are just you know, amazing. Even this dash, I'm a huge fan actually of this beautiful dash. I think it's just so beautiful. I think I like this dash better than the fancy RS dash. I think this is a lot better. Just, you know, I think it's just nice and simple. It's a good readout. It's you know, it just shows you everything you need. Got your gear indicator, fuel gauge. It's perfect. You know, the other thing with comfort on this bike is the suspension. It's not too harsh. It's although it's fairly aggressive still. It's not super plush. Sorry guys, this is going to be a bit of a it's going to be a bit of traffic around. So yeah guys, handling feels really good on this bike. You can throw it around corners, no problem at all. Feels quite stable. Now let's get into talking a little bit about the engine of this bike. So this is where I think this bike just shines. I absolutely love a triple engine. I think these are just absolutely fantastic, and like you will know in all my videos, I rave on about triples all the time. I think the torque is fantastic, and again this bike just doesn't disappoint. It's just fantastic, especially for the money. It is just absolutely a fantastic machine. Fairly short geared, not overly long gears on this bike, so you do have to use the gears, which you know isn't a big thing, isn't a problem. It actually, I think it makes it really enjoyable. We'll get off as well and I'll show you a little bit more around this bike. Oh, such a good engine. Really, really nice. And it's so interesting where this bike sits in the market. I think, you know, like for me, I mean, I've ridden just about every single bike you can possibly think of, from 200 horsepower down to 20 horsepower, and such a good motorcycle for an all-round machine. I think the you know, the ergonomics are so good. I think the engine's fantastic. I feel like the handling and how this bike sort of you know, holds itself is great. And you know, comparing it to you know, I've ridden an MT-07 as well, and you know, that's a fantastic bike, but it doesn't have the finesse and the feel of this bike. I just think, oh, very, very capable bike. And you know, like, even for me, yeah, like I said, even for me, I think this bike appeals to a very wide sort of you know, demographic as well, because you can be, you know, a new rider, and this is a fantastic starting out new bike. You can be a seasoned, you know, rider and, you know, very experienced and all the rest of it, and you know, this is still a fantastic machine. Some of the small negatives that I have of this bike, I do think that it would have been nice for this bike to come with some bar end mirrors. I think that would have, you know, been a nice touch, but then again, it's you know, easy fix. Some other things I don't love, I don't necessarily love the color schemes of this bike, although I do quite like the matte black one with the white sort of graphics on it. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the colors and these cutouts as well. But yeah, it's you know, overall for the price, and it's a great bike. So the engine and the character of this bike is fantastic. I absolutely love the triples. I think they're, you know, some of the best engines out there. Absolutely love this bike, and again, this engine in this bike is fantastic. Fairly short geared. It's not overly long. You have to work your way through the gears, but you know, that's not a bad thing at all. It's you know, it's a very perky engine. This bike in Australia comes restricted, where it's part of our LAMS program, so learners can ride this bike. So it's restricted to 39 kilowatts, which is you know, a few kilowatts off the original. I think the original one in Europe and in the US is around I think it's around 49 kilowatts from memory. So not massively, and you don't really notice it that much. Probably just more if you're up higher in speeds. But yeah, it's not a big problem at all. You can easily, you didn't hear this from me, but you can easily get it de-restricted if you're on your full license. Yeah, it's got plenty of go in it. Definitely isn't a slow bike by any means. It pulls pretty well. Like, yeah, it's really hard to actually tell that this is you know, restricted at all. So yeah, just a fantastic engine, and such a good price point for this kind of bike. I think you cannot go wrong with this. Alright, we'll pull over here, give you guys a little bit more of a walk around. Alright guys, so a little bit of a walk around this bike. Obviously this is the orange colour. I think it looks pretty good in this orange colour, though it's not my pick. I like the I like black bikes, but yeah, fantastic looking bike. Comes with good quality rubber. You definitely don't need to change them out. Obviously you would probably get rid of this, put a little tail tidy in there, throw an exhaust on there. But yeah, I just think this looks like such a, I actually prefer the look of this bike over the street triples. I think with the front round headlight, the way this bike is, little touches here and there, the logos, and I actually quite like the number plate down there. I think it does look quite nice. Alright guys, let's jump back on. Oh, such a good bike. Such a good value bike. So yeah, obviously its competitors, the MT-07, the Honda 650, I just think this bike just kills those bikes. I think, if you're after a middleweight bike, naked bike, this is hard to go by. Oh, it's just got so much go for a learner bike. It's really impressive. Alright guys, just a bit of a short review today. Hope you're enjoying these reviews. There's plenty more to come. Absolutely fantastic motorcycle. Big thank you to Bike Biz for the guys there for letting us take this bike out today. And yeah guys, ride safe and we'll catch you for another video. Bye. So yeah guys, so where this bike fits, I mean, it's just such a good bike. I just think if you're looking for a do-it-all sort of bike that you can still have fun on the weekends, commute on, I just think this is hard to go by. Even to say that this doesn't have the power of a street triple, you don't necessarily on the road, I don't think you miss that extra power. If you were doing track days and all the rest of it, I think you would miss the power, the extra sort of top end power. But yeah guys, this is such a good bike, and yeah, if you haven't ridden one, go and ride one. Obviously let's just talk a little bit about this dash. You've got your modes, you've just got road, rain, yeah, so just the two modes, which you don't really need any more on a bike like this. Brakes feel really good. Gearbox feels nice. You can also get a quick shifter for this bike if you really wanted one. That's an optional extra, I believe. I think you'd be looking at $1,000 here in Australia, which is not bad. I think yeah, I think you definitely want one on this bike. I think it would just top it off. I think that and an exhaust. Yeah, so yeah, other little things to note of this bike. It comes in at around $14,000 here in Australia, and like I said, this bike does come restricted. You can't get the non-restrictive version here in Australia, which is a bit of a shame, but like I said, easily fixable. It's not an overly tall bike. I can flat foot this bike. So if you're a shorter rider, this will be good for you. And even if you're a taller rider, there's plenty of room. Definitely, it's definitely one of the most comfortable bikes that I've ridden. So yeah, going over the little sort of touches on this bike, obviously the quality of this bike is where it really shines for the value. I think even the switch gear, everything just feels premium. Nothing feels really cheap, although probably if you were really picking between like the quality of the Street Triple, for example, feels slightly different, you know, to this bike. There's a few little things here and there that you can sort of pick up from, but I mean, in saying that, it's pretty damn good. Going through the good things about this bike, guys. Fantastic engine. Quality of this bike just feels absolutely amazing. Gearbox is great. It's the price point where this bike sits is fantastic. If you're after a bike, you know, or even if you're after sort of a Ninja 400, that sort of thing, I would seriously consider looking at one of these machines. Fantastic bike. Go and ride one. Go and see the guys at Bike Biz. They will sort you out. Yeah, guys, have a good day. Ride safe. And I'll catch you soon. Bye.